huge family room, and that doesn't add, a whole lot of value like the rest of the living area. It's not the same as a kitchen and a master bedroom and bath type of thing. So, I've run into situations like that. There are other issues related to quality of the finishes down on the lower level that may change how I view a walkout level. Acoustical ceiling tile is a big one for me. It's just not the same quality as drywall. Garden levels, it kind of depends on the segment. You can walk into a Dillon Valley house. There's a lot of houses in Dillon Valley that have garden levels. Same to a certain extent, maybe lesser extent as Willowbrook. But the garden level, again, I go back to the how does that lower level fit with the rest of the house? And if it's got 3 bedrooms total in the house, and 2 of them plus a bath and a family room are downstairs in the garden level, then to me it's living area, because that's just a functional part of the rest of the house. You got to have it, otherwise you end up with a 1-bedroom house.
And just to second that, almost everything's got different pictures and topography in this area, and you've got to consider it. I know the assessor considers anything below the kitchen basement. Well, there's houses with 4 basements. So, you've got to look at it as how it's used in the utility it contributes and the function it contributes. Now, of course, they'll consider it basement, but, I don't know, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll tax it at full living area because you're including it in that living area when you're totaling it out. If it's unfinished, I see you usually break it out, and we'll probably consider it differently. Of course, you can hammer them when they get up here. But as far as that's concerned, that's how I look at it. Contributory value, is it finished, degree of finished, and in the function that it contributes to it.
Yeah, just going to throw one quick cap on that, and that is what you want to be looking for in the appraisal is consistency in how they view that. If you've got a walkout subject and you're going to include that all in the gross living area, and then comp one's a walkout and you break it up into basement, you see that's a pretty good red flag that there's some massaging going on of the numbers, and that would be something you'd want to look for, and report something like that if you saw that.
Just going back a little bit, I'm curious, you were talking about seller concessions and furniture. Since we have a lot of second homes that are sometimes sold as a complete package, how often are the lenders asking you to go in and appraise the furnishing package and back it off of the price? How does that fit into the lending world these days?
Like Bob said, if we're dealing with a Flying Dutchman condo, and all your comps are going to have sold similarly furnished, it's less of an issue. But when you're dealing with a custom single-family home with $80,000 worth of furnishings included in the price, I see that as an $80,000 concession.
So are you being asked to back that off of the appraised value? There was a point in the past where you had to do that. There was a point where it was ignored.
So are you saying that we have to adjust the contract price essentially?
Lenders lend on real estate, not on furnishing.
Yeah. So
I'm wondering if you're being held to that standard. As an appraiser.
We're comparing it to unfurnished homes, and depending on how it comps out against those unfurnished homes, we may come in $80,000 under based on that. But I'll let Bob have that.
Well, and again, in my experience, I might call you up and say, what was the agreed value of that? Oh, well, it had all the artwork, it had, the Remingtons, it had everything in there, the Civil War rifles. Here's $150,000 worth of contributory value on that. I'm going to use that as the negative adjustment on that and try to stay consistent every time I use that as a comparable. Now, if all my comps have furnishings, I'm just going to be leaving it in there and explaining it that there's a contributory value of X amount. We don't get requests that often anymore. You have these peaks and valleys of everything that these lenders go through. They have this hot button all of a sudden. Furnishings, condo-tel is a big one right now. Everything's a condo-tel. If you have a client that has their condo on Hotels.com, VRBO, any one of those websites, they're going on there, and if they see it, they're red flagging the whole project. Forget about it. They're not going to lend there. And so if you're trying to sell something, you're going to have to look it up and verify it as well. And it might be classified as a condotel and have the extra costs associated with it. I don't know why they would do that, but that's where they're at right now because they've gotten spanked somewhere.
I know we could go on and on with questions. Maybe we can get these guys up on the way out with some final questions. Did you have something?
No, we're just going to just touch on this market conditions addendum that I passed out, or that Bob and I passed out. This is from an actual appraisal. This is the new form that Bill was referring to earlier. You can kind of see this was a Buffalo Ridge Village unit recently that I did. Some of the issues related to the form that they're asking us to either comment on or calculate or determine, and that is whether absorption is going up or down, sales are going up or down, and months of supply, housing supply, are going up or down. As you can see from this particular page at the very top under inventory analysis, you go from 39 sales to 10 to 5 over the course of a year in those, what is a 6-month segment beginning a year ago, and then a 3-month segment beginning 6 months ago, and then the most current 3 months. And then it also asks about listings just a little bit further down from in that same section. So then it's asking about, well, what's the average list price? What's the average days on market of those listings? And then what is the percent of list or sale to list price? And then we have to check that increasing, stable, or decreasing box. Make some comments down below regarding that, and then do the same calculation basically for sales within a project. So I think somebody touched earlier on, declining markets. And I think we're all kind of seeing this, that this pattern that you see at the top under inventory analysis, where you have declining sales go from 39 to 10 to 5, and housing supply goes from 15 to 16 to 32. While prices may not be coming down yet, that in my mind, this is a market that, this segment, if you will, for this appraisal, this is a market that is almost screaming decline. Because you're used to a 15-month supply, and that's even high compared to prior years. Because this is just, I think it was a 2-bedroom, based on this list price, $279 Buffalo Ridge. It was a 2-bedroom unit in that project. But you're looking at a doubling in less than a year in your housing supply. So, any questions on the form that we're looking at here?
How would it affect the requirements of the loan? Would they just come back and say, here's what we have, we want more down, or are you seeing that?
I think every lender is going to be different, so I can't answer that question. It's just going to come down to a lender-specific policy.
Well, thank you, guys.
Butch has one more. Go, Butch, quick.
Just one question. On the form, as you're talking about absorption rate, there is because we're a resort area, a lot of people list their places at unrealistic prices, other than, like, if you were in Highlands Ranch, there's going to be a price for whatever it is, and it's just, people are going to recognize that. Is there a way for you to dismiss those as you're doing them in your absorption rate?
I never noticed that before.
Okay.
I think we could comment on different things, seasonal market, the disengagement between buyers and sellers and where they are mentally, not coming to a meeting of the minds, that kind of thing. There's only so much dismissing you can do, so.
All right.